as you think you are, is it in favor of what you want? You have to ask yourself, is my life going all right? If it is, then I must be thinking all right. If it's not going all right, then I must not be thinking right. Now, that's very simple, but that is the truth, isn't it?
It is the truth. And I want to go back to the acts. Some of you think the acts is the request with your mouth. The acts is your continual thinking on a given matter. So if you're going to God and you're saying, Lord, help me overcome this illness, for example, and you're moaning and you're groaning and you're complaining, and the illness has become a God to you, then that's the acts. But when you come from a place of gratitude, saying, Father, thank you that I'm being healed moment by moment, and I'm feeling better, even at the moment when you don't feel better, you affirm what it is that you want or where you're going, not where you are. Would you agree?
Thoughts live. I agree. The thoughts you have are your life. Now, what are you thinking about? That's your life. I mean, you can't be separated between what you're thinking and what you're feeling and doing any more than you can be separated from God. Because he's right here with you right now. That's what people don't understand. I'm right here with you right now, he says. Talk to me. Talk to me. And that asking amiss, that's exactly what you're doing. When you go to God and you're praying about the problems you're having, you're asking amiss. Because what you're asking for is that you expect not to be answered. You expect to get a negative answer because you feel negative about yourself. If you feel negative about yourself, God can't help you. He can't. Subconscious mind can only create your world according to as you think feelingly you are. And if you're thinking feelingly in the negative, well, that's your world of experiencing. It's always up to you. I will do this or I will not do this. Be present. I am with you always. That's the story. Omnipresence, right here, right now. I can't think of any more ways to say it.
And going back on speaking of that, you said God couldn't help them. And sometimes help will come, or what appears to be help. Grace is immersed on all of us. But even in grace, even if God provides you with the healing as you're operating from your negative self-talk, you won't stay there because you're going to go back to what's comfortable. And what's comfortable for many of us is lack, loss, limitation, sickness, illness, and disease. So you're going to eventually go back to that mindset until mindset is changed. Would you agree?
That's it. You see, they operate automatically, the mindsets. So whatever situation you're considering at the moment, well, I don't really feel too good. Oh, well, this hurts or that. See, it falls right in with you and agrees with you. You see, that's the thing. Everything agrees with you. What are you agreeing with? What are you thinking feelingly about? Because this is your world of experiencing. What you think about, that is your everydayness world of experiencing. Right up to, and right to the absolute detail, as you think you are. If you change that to better, lovely, and a good report, your life will be exactly that. And all you have to do, God tells you, test me now herewith. God is telling you, test me. Test me now herewith and see if I won't open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you don't even have room to receive it all. Why would you wait? Yeah, why would you wait?
It goes back to, you said it before. Someone will often say, well, you can't think lovely and good rapport all the time. But as Mr. Lindell will often say, more is better.
The thing more better, got to be better. Because as you think you are, it says that very plainly. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what are you thinking about feelingly? Because that's a heart, that's a feeling nature. What are you thinking about yourself? Because that's what you're going to experience. And what other people say about you, that doesn't mean nothing unless you accept it. it's up to you to name you, to feel you as being better than the best. And if you can't do that, I don't know what can help you. Do you?
I don't. And to give you an example, I was watching a program and a person said to another person, when I was having my drink, I was meditating upon this disagreement that we're having now. And what the person didn't realize was as they were meditating on the disagreement, they were creating the stage for the disagreement. Would you agree?
That's it. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence. What were you thinking to say? That's it, isn't it? We do so much stuff automatically without even thinking about it that we create a lot of problems and successes and don't take credit for the successes, but we usually always take credit for the negatives, but not in the right way. By blaming someone else rather than ourselves, because it's as you think you are, not how they think, unless you accept how they think. But then you're told not to do that. You're told to think it for yourself, to feel for yourself. I really do appreciate having you running this. I really do.
Well, the thing is, what I love about it is that we complement one another, so what you're thinking, I may be communicating in another way and vice versa. So the point is, God's put us together so that the message can get out, and those who need it, even as we need it, can receive it. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's what I'm here to witness it, and then I'm here to do it, and then I'm here to give it as a witness to everyone who will listen. Your say is a valid say. That's true right here, right now. A valid say. Valid meaning that it carries weight. Whatever you're saying, you have what you say. What are you saying? Because if you're not enjoying life, then you're saying the wrong things. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would, and I love that you said you have what you say, because, Jesus also said that you shall have what you say. And Mr. Lindell just said a moment ago, your say is a valid say. I want to give you an example. How many times do we say, I knew this was going to happen. This always happens to me. All of that's correct. You're prophesizing into your life. What if you changed the belief system and didn't allow the negative to become your end result or your reality? Would you agree?
Yes. That, absolutely. I do agree because, we're always on, we're always thinking, what are you thinking about? That it's really that simple. If you'll keep it, you'll remember it. If you remember it, you can operate from it. If you don't remember it, you can't operate from it. So you have to remember what you're going to do about whatever takes place. Because you're in control even if you're out of control. The idea is to stand up and take control. I am in control. I am decide. Because, look, even your body takes all of its orders from what you say. If you're feeling down, the body feels down. If you're feeling up, the body feels up. It's as simple as that. What you're thinking about, that's what's important. Not what you're doing, not what you're building. That's secondary. That's the drama man. But that's a dream. That's a virtual reality. And you're given to choose in this virtual reality. But nothing happens forever. It's just for the now thing. I don't know what I would say that, but it's just for the play, just for the drama, just for the dream. It's not reality, because reality's changeless, and there's only God. So that's your blessing. That's your salvation. There's only God. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and I want to go back to what you said. You said nothing happens forever. And that's the thing that each one of us can take comfort in. Whatever it is that you are experiencing at the moment, you have to get into the mindset and know this too shall pass. Now, the question is, what is it beyond this experience do you want to create? Do you want to create abundance? Do you want to create a loving relationship? Do you want to create health? When you're operating in the now, you have to determine what the next now will be by giving your attention to what it is that you want. Do you agree?
It is all happening through you, not to you. That's the evidence of the senses when you see it coming to you. But the evidence of it is the thought and the feeling about the thought of it that brings it into your life. As you think, you are. That is a complete sermon right there, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You were speaking about the feelings that we give to it, and we have to understand that we give the feeling, the thoughts, the judgment about the event. No one else. So two people could be looking at the exact same car accident, for example, and they'll have two different perspectives of what happened. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point. And that was the idea, is that everything would be opposed to everything else so that you could actually decide to actually feel right about yourself. You have to feel right about yourself if you're going to enjoy life. What you think about anything else out in the world, that can be positive or negative, but what you think about yourself has to be positive because you're going to suffer it. And choose this day. Are you choosing to suffer? You see, if you're constantly thinking about your suffering, then you're choosing to keep suffering. But if you're thinking of relief, that I am relieved of this thing. That's it. God has offered healing. He tells you that you can heal yourself. Why wouldn't you believe him? The thing is, you have to believe God right off the bat. That's it. There's only God. If you believe that, the rest of it just fills itself in. But if you don't, nothing works, right?
Absolutely. And going back to that, we can only love at the extent that we love ourselves. So you said you got to self-reflect. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to love anybody else. If you're not happy with self, you're not going to be happy with anybody else. So if you don't wish abundance for anyone else, then first and foremost, you got to see abundance for yourself. So whatever it is that you want to see in the world, you have to first and foremost, as Mr. Lindell was just saying, have to experience it within. Would you agree?
Good. It's all taking place within. That's it. Absolutely. As within, so without. Doesn't that tell you that this is a virtual reality? It's a thought. And you can change your thought so you can change the world. See, it's all that simple, but it's so complicated because of all the other things that you're trying to fit into what doesn't fit. In other words, as you think you are, but you're trying to do it other than you're thinking, and so you're just confusing yourself. As a person feels in his feeling nature, that's what subconscious mind makes your world of. Whatever you're producing as your model, that's what will be produced in your world continuously until you change your mind and change your world. It's all you being pushed out. Everything you're experiencing is the self being pushed out. Your thinking makes it so. That's it, isn't it?
It is. So we can actually know what's going on within by what you're experiencing without. If you're experiencing chaos outside in your world without, the workplace, the relationships, everything else, then you're experiencing chaos on the within. Would you agree?
That's it. That's it. And that is exactly it. As you think you are. That's the only thing you have to remember. As you think feelingly, your world of experiencing is a result of thinking ahead of your evidence. And you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. If you're going to reach over and pick up a drink, you're thinking about reaching over and picking up the drink, aren't you? Isn't it? Isn't that it?
It is.
And it's that simple, isn't it?
It is that simple.
But, you see, we're the ones that are complicated. The world's not complicated at all. You put a seed in the ground, put a little water on it, and it grows up and feeds you. Well, that was simple enough, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's still simple. And that's what we're telling you, that this is simple. And everybody would like simple, wouldn't they?
They would. They would. Implementation is the challenge, of simplicity, trying to keep it simple because, as you stated a moment ago, it's in our nature to complicate even simple.
Oh, yeah, really. And I did that for years. I kicked the car and banged the hood down. And it was only my lack of doing the maintenance. And that's it. You lack doing the maintenance on yourself, watching your conversations, and because you don't do that little bit of information, that's why you have the question, why me, why this, why now? Because you're not doing the maintenance on yourself. You have to be maintained physically, mentally, psychologically, because this is a psychological drama. It's a psychological play. It's all the self pushed out, not what's out. See, the world is coming through you. It isn't coming to you. It's just like these talks. They're coming through me. They're not coming from me. Because believe me, this is so far beyond anything I had ever thought or ever even dreamed about. And yet, here it is, right here with me. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. That's the message, isn't it?
It is. You said a moment ago, I used to kick the car, out of frustration, blah, blah, blah. And I remember interacting with a coworker when I was with corporate America. And often he would talk negative to his computer, and the computer would never work. And I said, you have to begin speaking nicer to your computer. I said, everything is energy. And the funny thing is, when he began to change his conversation, even to his computer, he got a different response.
Of course. If you act differently, you get differently. That's the whole thing. That's what change your mind is. You change your mind. You've been thinking this way all along, and it hasn't worked. Well, get a new adventure. It's as you think you are. Take a new adventure. I mean, that's what you're on right now. You're on an adventure. But if it isn't working, you're given to change it, and you can do so with the Word. You're using the Word. And the Word was with God. The Word was God. So you're actually talking directly to God. That's the reason why you're told to think only on things that are lovely and of good report, because you're talking to God. And He's making your world according to as you think you are. And you can change what you think, so you can change your world. And you don't blame God. He gave you the perfect answer to all your questions, as you think you are. Isn't that it?
Absolutely. And for those who are doubting what it is that we're saying, try it. Test it for 30 days. Scripture says, test me now and see if I will not open up the windows of heaven and pour you out such a blessing that there will not be room enough to store. What I'm saying is, test what it is that we're saying. Begin to practice a more positive outlook. Begin to change those negative thoughts. Begin to self-direct your thoughts, your willpower, in the direction according to the thing that you want to have in your world and not the things that you don't want to have in your world. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's absolutely. As you think you are. See, those are there for you to understand that you are the maker of yourself. As you think you are. You're making yourself moment by moment, or you're changing yourself moment by moment. But it's up to you to choose what it is you're thinking about. And if you're not choosing it, well, then you're just letting yourself, you're just a loose cannon then, right?
Absolutely. And others, as you've so often said, others are choosing for you, and you're going to be of that mindset, why is this happening to me again? Would you agree?
Well, that's it. That's it. And it'll happen again and again and again every time you think. That's the reason why you're told to let go. Thoughts that are not serving you, let them go. If they're not giving life to yourself, then let them go. Because it is as you think you are. It's that simple. What are you thinking about? See, if you're allowing the environment to choose what you're thinking, if you're allowing the other people around you to choose what you're thinking, then you're not living your life, you're living their life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And until you begin living your life, you'll never live your life to the full as you're living it vicariously through other people. Would you agree?
That's right. Just exactly that. I mean, that's the whole idea, is as you think you are. And you can choose what you think you are. You were given choice, and nobody can take that choice away from you. You have to choose. You are in control. And, well, even if you're out of control, you're still in control. But then the idea is to take control, to start programming your life according to as you desire it to be, not based upon anything on the ongoing drama on the without. You can change anything. You can change, well, it's like the guy said, you said, only God suffers. And look at me, here I am in a wheelchair. Well, what do you mean only God suffers? That's right. That's who you are. And the expression was out of this world. I said, come on. You actually can heal yourself. Really. You don't have to have a degree in medicine. You don't have to know anything about it, as a matter of fact. But you can heal yourself. I am healed. If you can say that again and again, regardless of the situation that you're in at the moment, that's your track right now, is that I am well. That's it. That's it. If that's what you keep saying, God says, okay. Because as you think you are, that's it. It's that simple. Keep it simple. You'll remember it. I hope so anyway. Because it happened for me just exactly the same way. And I don't want to go into telling you things because it sounds like you're bragging or something, but as you think you are. That's it. That's the story, isn't it?
It is the story, and I know that some people out there would say, Mr. Lindell, please brag, tell us. But since you decided not to, what I am going to say is that as we give our attention to health, for example, you start not only thinking, saying, but feeling. And it goes back to Neville's book, Feeling is the Secret. You have to feel that no matter what state that you're in, because the truth of the matter is even that person in a wheelchair can be whole if he or she understands who it is that he or she is.
That's exactly it. You have to be responsible for yourself. You are the maker of yourself. They themselves are makers of themselves. So you're making yourself moment by moment. Into what? That's it. Into what? That's the question you have to ask yourself. What am I creating myself to be? By my choices. And if you're not getting the results that you want, then you're not thinking the thoughts that you need to think. I mean, look, I don't have a great education, but I can understand the idea that as you think you are. And that is all I started with. I was told that my whole world was dependent upon what I thought about me and what I think about the world in general. That's your life. You were in charge, take charge. And what you're to take charge of is understanding the law. And the law is, as you think you are. You do, you have, you be. And I know I repeat that over and over, but I want you to understand how important what you think is. It's your life. That's it. This world is a hell. But you don't need to think of the world. You think of yourself, because you're the creator of your world of experiencing through your thinking. Think only on lovely and if good report. That's it. That's it.
And as we talk about that, again, I want to direct some of you who are looking at, okay, well, how can I begin getting into this mode? We got downloadable CDs out there. We also got the physical CDs. For those who are in the U.S., we'll send them out to you normally within 24 hours, provided that we don't hit a weekend. For those who are local and want the downloads, we can also do that. Go out to metaphysicalarttheater.com if you're interested. And again, as I've said before, these CDs are not so much instructional, they are meditative. And what I mean by that, the wisdom that you're going to get is something that's going to sink down into your spirit as you continue to listen. This is not A, B, C, do this, do this. It's not that kind of CD. It's Mr. Lindell pouring out wisdom for several hours, and you can let that wisdom play in your background as you're doing your daily chores or whatever. And I guarantee that if you continue to listen to these CDs, your life is going to be transformed, but you got to get it in you. So again, go out to Metaphysical Art Theater. You said something about this world is a hell, and I want to also say that this world is a hell of one's own choosing, because we choose whether this is heaven or hell. And we were talking about being in a wheelchair and being whole, and I keep thinking about Helen Keller. Helen Keller couldn't see, nor could she hear, and she was more whole than many of the people of her time or many of the people who have ever lived. She's transformed more lives with her wisdom and the little abilities that she had. So wholeness has nothing to do with your bodily state. It's more with who you are and understand who you are at a spiritual level. Would you agree?
And she taught you more spiritualness than than you'd receive going to church for years.
Absolutely.
She's my hero. I thought about that over and over and over. And she had the secret because she was kind of forced into the secret. But you don't need to be forced into the secret by circumstances. You can talk for yourself, and that's who you are talking for, even when you're not aware that's who you're talking for. You're suggesting to yourself. What are you suggesting to yourself? Think about it for a time. What am I suggesting to myself by what I'm doing? You know, you're suggesting to yourself even when you're not aware of it. But what? And when you become aware of it, you'll be shocked at the things you were putting yourself up against unnecessarily. But that's the way it works. You have to get it. You have to get it for yourself. We can tell you all that needs to be told to you, week after week after week, and yet it's what you do saves you, right?
Absolutely. So in closing, physician, heal thyself. What would you say to the listener?
That's it. Physician, heal thyself. In other words, you're thinking on the thought that you're well, not of your sickness, but of well. You're not denying the sickness. You understand? That's not what you're doing. You're just being better than what you're experiencing, and you are. But it's all about as you think you are. That'll get you out of that chair quicker than anything else in the world. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Sir, it's been a pleasure.
It certainly has. I so enjoy these because I feel that people are actually hearing it.
Absolutely. I agree.
Fantastic. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.